Welcome to our Mission Team podcast. My name is Patrick Magyar, and I have the immense pleasure of welcoming Nicola Spirig as my guest today. Nicola is certainly the most successful Olympic distance triathlete ever. She is a wonderful person. She has a degree in law. She has a family of 3 children, and she has had an incredible sports career. She's sharing her insights about how the success of Team Nicola Spirig came along. For those who haven't heard it, listen to last week's episode where her husband Reto Hug is sharing his view. Nicola, welcome in our podcast. It's fantastic to have the greatest Olympic triathlete ever in the podcast today. And I'd like to start with what you said at your farewell party. You basically said, to start with, there's lots of other athletes that have a similar talent as you, that worked as hard as you, but they didn't have your team in the background. And that made such a difference. Did the team in the end make the difference, or was that a bit understated?
Exactly. Hi, Patrick. Hi, everyone. Yes, I think it makes a huge difference to have a big, strong team in the back. There are a lot of puzzle pieces that need to fit together to actually get to the absolute top. But for me, the team was always one extremely important piece. And as you said at that farewell party, it was amazing how many people have supported me for like over 20 years. And an example, like my first sponsor has supported me for 29 years. It's just unbelievable.
This consistency, where does it come from? Why have you such a team that stayed with you for so long?
That's a very interesting question, and I think I can't really answer it. I was lucky, I guess, in certain cases, because I found the right people, because they stayed so long. They were probably as fascinated by my journey, our journey together, as I was. They were prepared to invest a lot to just accompany me with 100% dedication. And I think that makes a team and keeps a team glued together if you live through those amazing moments. But yeah, I can't really say why I was so lucky to have so many also nice, good people in my corner.
I would have an answer to that, but I leave that very secretly to me. Uh, Nicola, obviously, when you speak about the family Hug, Spirig, Spirig, Hug, you also draw kind of comparisons to the family Federer, where we have a very similar situation, a super long career, super successful, the partner of the top athlete being herself or himself a former tennis player or a former 3-time Olympian, in the case of your husband. How important is this family aspect in your team?
Extremely important. Our relationship, Rita's and mine, changed during the years. We are now together for 20 years as well. And first, when we met each other, he was the famous athlete, and I was just a junior. Also quite successful, but yeah, just in the junior category. And I was looking up to him. And this changed, the relationship changed, the standing in the sports changed. I became more and more successful. He was 7 years older, so it was also clear that he would stop before me if nothing unusual happened. And for me, in the first part of our career, we really enjoyed to do the sports together and to be able to travel around together. I always had the most important part of home with me on my travels, so I could always take him with me, and it was very nice to like share that journey and have it together. And then once he stopped, he was still the one completely understanding what I had to do to be at the top of the world. Basically, I didn't have to explain to him why I have to also train on Sundays and on my birthday and on his birthday and on Christmas. He knew, and I think that made it much easier, and it was a huge support. And the biggest support came when we had a family together, when we had kids together, and he supported me by taking over the main care for the kids, and I could continue my career, could go out and train, knowing that someone at home who loves the kids as much as I do, who does this taking care of the kids as well as I do, would stay home, and that I wouldn't have done that without him. No question.
So, Nicola, what you're basically explaining is that the the success that you had with the support of Reto was mostly based on trust. Is trust the driver for your whole team? Is that what got you going?
I think trust is extremely important. Yes, with Reto, also with my coach. I think he doesn't do everything right. There's always decisions that I might not have agreed with him, but I completely trusted him to do 100% his best to make me the best athlete possible.
I had the discussion with Reto how difficult it is to look as a former three-time Olympian, as a physiotherapist, at his wife from outside and see her train with Brad Sutton, who I think we all agree the man knows incredibly much about sports in general, not just triathlon, but in general, and is working very much on intuition. But probably if you don't trust Brad totally, it's almost impossible to train with him, right?
Yes, and I think sometimes it was hard from people being close to me, like Rito, like my father, who was my former coach, and sometimes not completely understanding what Brett did and watching it from the outside. And I think it was just hard for them to just watch and not say anything. And they did a really good job with that, like just basically trusting in Brett and myself to do the right thing, even if they thought, I mean, they are world class as well. Rito knows so much about triathlon and training and coaching, and my father as well. But they did a great job to, even if Brett made weird decisions, to keep quiet and let us do our like training, even if it was really unconventional sometimes.
So does that need a kind of a special error culture? Is that something where you kind of have to live with the fact that when you do something, errors happen, and you find a way of dealing with that?
Brett told me once, he said, "You know why I'm the best coach of the world?" So he didn't lack of confidence. And I said, "No, tell me." And he said, "Well, normal coaches do kind of out of 10 decisions, they have 6 right. And myself, out of 10 decisions, I have 7 or 8 right. That's why I'm the best coach." And for me, of course, that said, okay, you do still 2 wrong, at least 2 or 3 wrong. But it showed me that it was a good example, because no coach gets everything wrong. And it is always a kind of a way of trial and error. And sometimes you make mistakes by trying too hard, by trying things out, and also but learning that this way doesn't work, so you can go the other way. So definitely we have made mistakes, but I think sometimes they're also necessary to actually evolve and get better.
So you said you don't want to become a coach because that's not really your talent. Is that really so?
I think so, because sometimes Brett would send me videos like swimming, and without any comment, and I watched myself swimming. I said, "Well, what's wrong? Just tell me." And he said, "No, just watch the video." I was like, "Well, I'm swimming, but I can't see where's the mistake. Just tell me." So it's just an example that I think I can't see I can feel it as an athlete. If he tells me what to change, I can change it, no problem. But I couldn't see what Brett saw also with other athletes. If he showed me how other athletes swim, I couldn't see what they had to do better. And of course, I'm comparing myself with one of the best coaches of the world, so my standards are high. Yeah, I don't think I would have the coaching eye to be a great coach.
Now comes the big question for you, because I asked the same to Reto, vice versa. What about him?
I think he will be a great coach. I saw him coaching in a few occasions, and I do think he would be an excellent coach.
We agree. He should be the next Brad Sutton, definitely. Nicola, let's just move a little bit away from extrapolating your career. Super successful individual, super strong team behind you, super family relationships. Now you're going to jump into the business world. What is it you feel you're bringing with you out of this career and trust that will help you most? What's your biggest strengths that you have built over these years?
I think you learn a lot in sports. I think it's a really good school of life. I didn't just do sports. I also did my studies, my law studies during sports, during my career. And even then, I felt I could profit from my sports career. I did the studies much easier because I could, like, if I had a goal and I wanted to achieve it, I knew exactly how. I knew how to be efficient. I knew how to find out what the important things are and focus on them. I knew how to deal with situations that are not easy, that are difficult, that involve pressure and expectation. So I looked at the other students and found like, oh, I know these situations. I know how to study, how to go, like to achieve a goal. So I think those things help you just in general in life, and also I'm sure David helped me working wise. I have learned from myself that if I do something, I do it right. I want to do it 100%. And that's what I think I will bring with me. If I say I would do something and it's a goal, it's a motivation for me, then I will do it properly.
And what do you expect is going to be your biggest challenge?
That I never worked in a normal environment. I mean, you could say I worked, but it was always a bit different, and I never worked in a building with other people, and so like being an employee is new to me, and I think there are a lot of little things I have to learn there.
You are going to work with your shoe manufacturer, with On. You're going to take care of other athletes. How important will again this building a team around these athletes be in the work you intend to do?
Yeah, so that will be a part of my work. Of course, I will continue my foundation and the kids triathlon and some other projects. But I'm extremely looking forward to working with On. I can do exactly what I thought is important in my career. I can help them build a team, a support team behind them. I can help them have legal support, have financial advice. If they want to have an education, find the right way to do that besides sports. I can through On, I can help them in things that I thought were really important in my career.
And how difficult do you think is it then for young athletes to kind of be compared with Superwoman Nicola, like studied law, Olympic champion, I don't know how many titles overall, three kids, great relationship with everybody. Is that something that is feasible for somebody else, or is it so special that it might actually block people and they will just look up at you and say, "Oh, that mountain of a woman, we never can get to that level."
I hope not, but you would have to ask them, not me. What I see is, yes, if I look back, it seems let's rephrase it. I was in a training camp a few years ago. It was my birthday, and a young athlete training with me said, "Oh, how old are you getting?" And I was like 38, and she was like, "Oh, that's double the age than me." And I was just, it made me consider if I wanted to be 19 again. And I was like, well, then I would have to do everything again, like everything I achieved, becoming an Olympic champion, finding a great husband, building a house, having 3 kids, studying, like building a foundation, a kids series. I was like, no, I wouldn't like to be 19 again. I'm really happy with my life, but looking back as well, I just took step by step. I was never imagining my life like that from the beginning. And I couldn't have imagined it like that. And that's what I would say to young athletes. Just take it step by step and just goal by goal, dream by dream, and just build it up. And don't look at if you do a race, it's the same. You don't look at, oh, I need to do 100% performance over 2 hours. You focus on the first buoy, and then you focus on the second, and you focus on transition in triathlon. So you take it step by step, and that's, for me, that's the best way to do it.
We are very happy that you lived the life that you did, and that you had the successes, and that we all had the emotions with you. Finishing in a heartbeat finish, everybody still gets heartbeats when he looks at that. Thank you very much for joining us and for the insights in your team.
Thank you too. Happy to be here.
Thank you for listening to our Mission Team podcast. Do not forget to register for the next episode and visit us on mission-team.com.